Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks once again for joining us today. I will give people like a few minutes to find us, and I'm going to go to my page also and make sure I turn the broadcast on for everybody to see. So edit privacy, and I will let everybody be able to see it. And hello, 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 hello. I see that somebody has joined us. And today we are going to be doing a career fair. We have three guests with us that have agreed to come and talk to the boys about the careers that they are involved in, and also just to um, share with them how they got there, the journey that they had to take to be able to get there. And so we are excited. First, the boys are going to come in and they will talk to you about the careers that they're interested in and what they know about those careers. They have had an opportunity to actually look up those careers and get a little bit familiar with those careers. So I'm going to bring them in and let them introduce themselves. So the others, I think they're still trying to join, but when they join us, I will bring them in. Okay, boys, let's go ahead and introduce yourself. So introduce yourself, talk about your career of choice, which college you want to talk to, what's the outlook for that career, on average, how much does it pay, and everything that you have learned, okay? All right, let's go.
I'll go first. So my name is Cortez
Okay.
Ted, and my career that I chose is pharmaceutical scientist. The school that I want to go to is Stanford University because it has a great science program, and also, um, yeah, I'm done.
No, you are not done yet. You didn't tell us on average how much does a pharmaceutical scientist make and what's the job outlook for it.
I remember now. What I was supposed to say. So the average pay is 140,000 to $220,000, and the
And
job
what does Mhm.
is very high. That's what he said.
All right. Thank you, Cortez. Um, Jordan, you want to go next?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, my name is Jordan Bromfield, and I am 10 years old. And the career I chose was a professional NBA player. And my job outlook is that there's an NBA draft every year, and the school that I want to go to is University of Houston. And because there has degree options and good basketball programs. And my salary is 11,252, and yeah, that's it. No, what's the job? That's it. No, they're not talking. Can you hear us now? Okay. So I guess I go again. No, Jeremy, you go. Again? My name is Jeremy Brumfield and I am 10 years old. My career that I chose was a professional basketball player. The this the school that I want to go to is the college that I want to go to is University of Houston. The salary is 11,252, and because they have a job outlook, and every year they have an NBA draft.
Hi, my name is Devin. I am 10 years old. The job I would like to do is to be a professional basketball player. What you need to do to be a basketball player, you need to be athletic, you need to have concentration, and you need to have teamwork. The school I want to go to is Southern University because that is a HBUC college and they have sports teams. And it's a family tradition.
Okay. I think Devin when mute on me, I was trying to ask, did his mama go there? Okay, Devin, thank you so much. Thank you so much, boys, for introducing yourselves. Thank you, Cortez. Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you, Jaden. Now we are going to have one of our guests come in and he will introduce himself and he will talk to the kids. This guest is also for you just to know, he's also my boss. And I talked to him and I asked him to come here because he has a very interesting story to me. And when he tell you his story, you will realize that he was about that age when everything started to unravel for his life, and that's why he was one of my guests of choice for me to ask him to come in here, because I felt that they will be able to relate with his story because of how things started to turn around when he was around that age. So without giving away too much, I would like you all to welcome my boss, Lin Wen, and I will give him an opportunity to introduce himself.
Thank you, Leonie. Truth be told, actually, I work for Leonie. She's I'm not even with the company longer, but she's the one that tells me what to do all the time. Again, thank you for the opportunity, and I appreciate all the boys there sharing their story and their aspiration. As you can tell, right, I'm an immigrant to the U.S. Maybe you couldn't tell that, but I came here in 1978, so that puts me around about your age at the time, 10 years old. I didn't speak any English. And believe it or not, actually, I started working when I was 6. And then my mom used to be in the shrimping business and fishing business. So we used to take fish and then carry it forward to Saigon, which is in Vietnam. So that's where I immigrated from. But I tell you, as a 10-year-old, I'm pretty amazed at the career aspirations that you already know what you want to do. As I recall, when I was 10, I was just trying to figure out how to learn English, believe it or not. But the career that I end up where I am today, which just so you know, I work for Avanade, like Leonie. I've been around the company for 20 plus years. I'm the first employee there. And it wasn't something that I set out when I was 10 that want to do. And I think when I was 10, I want to be an astronaut, believe it or not. But that was the aspiration. And as I grew up, part of what I'm hearing from everybody is great. I think there's like 3 or 4 NBA players, so I'm looking forward to that. but I knew I couldn't be an NBA player because I'm only 5'8", and there's not too many other than Muggsy Bogues and I think Spud Webb was the 2 like under 5'8" that were really good. So I didn't have the height or the talents for it. But for me, I think as you start thinking about, and I do have kids the same age as you, so one of the things that I always encourage them to is try a lot of things. Try different sports and explore and continue to give yourself options, right? Maybe because as a 10-year-old, it's really hard to know what's going to happen when you're 18, which is when you're about to go to college, right? So the important thing is that work on all the skills and try and learn as much as you can and figure out what it is that you like and what you don't like. And for me, growing up, the one thing that I was wanting to do is that not so much a very specific job that I want, but it's more of what it is that I want to do in terms of for my career choices. I knew that I want to work with people. So that's very important to me because the dynamic of people, I wasn't the type of person that sit in the room by myself and trying to think up new ways of doing things. But it's not very good with that. I like to interact with people. So that's one thing I knew for sure. And the second thing is that I knew I wanted to do something where I can have impact on people's lives, whatever that was, whether it's in the career that I am in now or make enough money to where I can have impact on people. So I knew that I want to give back to the community, continue to nurture and help build a community that I grew up in. And then the one thing that I always say is that that how I want to do is that whether it's an interaction with somebody or something that I do, I always want to leave it in a better situation and better place than what it was handed to me. So based on that, and to be honest, a lot of time, my wife, my kids, they always ask me how was my job, and I always tell them that it's really not a job. I mean, it's really fun what I do, and part of what I do is I get to make a lot of decisions with regard to our business and who to hire, who not to hire, etc., and what client to do work with. But it's really fun, and that's the one thing that regardless of what it is that you aspire to do, you have to have a passion about it. And it's only that passion that's going to continue to motivate you to get better and to seek out others to help you get better. And at the same time, just to figure out what it is that you need to do that. And it's okay if and I have brothers. I think a brother of mine that I think switches careers about 5-6 times now. And it's okay if you try something else and it doesn't work, move on to something else. But the important thing is that you always learn something from it. So I don't want to take too much time. I think there's other guests, and certainly if you have questions, feel free to ask it and let me know. I'll try to answer as the best of my knowledge.
Thank you so much, Lynn. That was so encouraging. I like the point that you make of give yourself options, because often as parents, actually, I would like to say I that's an advice that I actually have never given Cortez. So I think I'm glad that you brought that up, and it's something that even myself going forward, I'll have it consciously in my mind to remind him that he should give himself options. Boys, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions for Lynn? You can ask him anything.
You can ask me anything.
Based on what he said, you can ask him anything. Tazy, any questions? If you have a question, just raise your hand. Devin, any question? James, you do? Okay, let me bring Devin in. Devin, take yourself off mute. You are live. And
Devin, let me tell you, when you show up, there's no way I'm saying he's 10 years old. You are so big.
Yes, he is.
I'm already 5'1".
But you look very big. You're 5'1". Jeez, it's amazing. What's your question, Devin?
You the founder of the company that
Am I the founder of the company?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm part of the initial group of people that started the company. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So before that, I worked actually for another company for almost 10 years. And when we started this company at Avanade in 2000, I just came over and I was the first way. And then I would say at one point I think in the first, I would say 2 years or 3 years in Avanade, I think I hired like 50% of the people within the company at that point. So we grew quite a bit now. We're at 38,000 plus. But when we start out, obviously we have, a handful of employees, and then we kind of grew it from there in the last 20 years.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you for the question. Other question?
No.
Now, I heard earlier for the NBA players, you realize that the starting salary is not $11,000, right? I mean, it's like the minimum salary is almost $350,000 a year.
I had to let them think modestly.
Well, if you start out in the D League, maybe the salary is a little bit different. I'm just happy that the NBA started up again. So
the calculation from the career website is based on average, just if you are a professional athlete. So it doesn't look at in NBA, NFL. So that's where they got that information from. Like, just if you're a professional athlete, on average, this is how much you make.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Lynn. I will. We have one of our young guests that have also joined, so I'm going to let him come in and introduce himself. Let me go get him, bring him. Are you ready, James? All right, good. Hey, James.
Hi.
Yeah, you are not in when your friends introduce themselves, so you can go ahead and introduce yourself now.
My name is Jameson and I'm 10 years old. And I was born in 2010, May 7th.
Okay, and can you tell them what your career of choice is?
Mine is being a professional athlete.
And what's the outlook on your job or on future jobs for your career of choice? Okay. What university did you pick that you want to go to attend, and why?
Oh, just repeat what you want.
Um,
Where you want to go and why?
where I want to go and why?
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to the NBA.
No, what school? What university?
Oh,
School.
the university. I want to
Yes,
go
the
to
university.
the University of U of H.
All
University.
right. And why did you pick U of H?
Because I think because it's an in-state college and it won't be cost as much as it will if I go to an out-state college, and I think it's gonna be the best fit for me to make it to the NBA.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to put you backstage. If you have any questions that you want to ask, just raise your hand and I will bring you in so you can be able to ask your questions, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so now I'm going to bring another guest of ours, Miss Melinda Bonton. And I just want to thank Melinda because Melinda was invited by one of the parents, the triplets, the Broomfield triplets. Their mom invited her on for me. And Melinda is a native of Dallas, but she moved to Houston for college, and she went to UFH, Go Cougars. And now she studied finance, which is very relevant because the whole course that the boys have been taking is on finance. So I'm going to bring her on so she can share with the boys why she chose that career, what she's doing now, how is it going for her, and like if they decided to go that path, what do they have to do? All right, so welcome, Melinda. I just need you to like shift your camera a little bit so we can see you more.
There we
And
go.
shift it down a little bit again. It's
Uh,
cutting your chin off.
yeah, I'm so short, and so I'm the
There
5.
you go.
I'm your height, and I'm an adult. So
I know.
what happens? I have
I
a
know.
so hey, but yes, I am an alumni of the University of Houston. I am the owner and founder of MB Financial Consulting Services. As mentioned, I am from Dallas originally. I came out here about 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I came out here with $200 to my name, and again, I had graduated from high school. I was in the top 10%, and I came out to the University of Houston because my sister had went and did a college tour and said that was the best school that she saw. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to U of H. And I was out here by myself, no family, just me. But I said that, hey, I wanted something different. I wanted a different environment. And so that's what led me to Houston. So I am a first generational student. I'm the first one to graduate from college out of my family. My dad, my mom, highest degree level is a high school diploma, and family of 5. And it was, a bit of a struggle growing up. And so it really kind of led me down the path of finance. Actually, when I started as a psychology major at the University of Houston, but reality hit, honestly, because to be a psychologist, I needed to get a doctoral degree. And for me, I was funding myself through college, and I did not have the funds to be able to sustain and wait and go through a whole doctorate program in order to actually start making money and having a career. So I also leaned in on something else that I was also good with, which was numbers. And then, of course, coming from a family that kind of struggled a lot growing up, I wanted to figure out what were ways that I could do things differently than what I saw at home. And so for me, again, I started out as a psychology major, then I switched over to finance. And I tried to avoid accounting because I did not want to see that huge textbook. And so I ended up with a degree in finance. From there, I had an internship with Kellogg Brown and Group, and they brought me on full time. And then from there, I worked underneath the CPA, which pushed me to go and get additional hours of accounting, the thing that I ran from, and pursue more towards the CPA route. Left from Kellogg Brown and Group, worked for Direct Energy, doing some financial planning and reporting. And then I went over to work for the Rose School, which is a charter school, as a CFO. So I worked there for about 5 or 6 years, and then I decided to go ahead and start my own business because I was starting to get a lot of people to say, hey, I see what you're doing there. Can you be able to assist me in my business? But of course, I couldn't be able to do much of that if I was tied down all the time with working for the school. So I said, why not work for myself? And again, it was a scary path for me because growing up, I was taught to go to school, go and work for a major corporation, retire with a nice 401k, and that's it. But then, of course, my husband and his family are nowhere near normal 9 to 5. And they are all pretty much the entrepreneur route. And so it kind of encouraged and inspired me to go along that route as well. And so I ended up starting MB Financial Consulting. And what we do is from bookkeeping, financing, we're helping organizations to be able to budget and project going forward for their organization and to be able to grow. And so I work with a lot of different nonprofits, corporations, schools, you name it. We do it. The one thing that I do love about what I do is because the sky's the limit. There, when you talk about a salary, there is no limit to my salary because it's based off of how much work I want to do. If I do more work, of course, more income comes in. If I add more clients, if I add less clients, there's less money to come in, but I'm not capped at any amount. And then also, I feel like it is my God-given talent. And so it's not something that I wake up and feel like I'm doing a job. Because again, it's a part of me and I feel like it's my passion. So I would definitely say, as far as tips, is find a career that's not just a job, but a passion that you look forward to each morning. Multiple streams of income are always great because you never know how the market can turn. And how you start may not be how you finished. And never be afraid to try. You never want to live life regretting. So those are the last key things I have for you guys.
Wow, that was awesome, Belinda. I mean, just so inspiring. And thank you once again for coming in and speaking to the boys. I like the fact that it's almost like you and Lina are in agreement in saying you don't do your job because it's something that you need to do, but you do it because you love it. And I
Right.
also like that advice of multiple streams of income because, to your point, most of us just think that, okay, I have this job or I have this business and I'm going to work it and make it work and make it give
Right.
me income. And we don't really look at that possibility and how much does having multiple streams of income and also just the stress that it takes out. So boys, you guys are lucky that and blessed that right now you are getting all that advice. And I already see a hand up, so I'm going to bring Jeremy. on so he can ask you a question. Jeremy, you can take yourself off mute and ask a question.
Yes. Miranda, is it hard owning your own business?
Nothing is ever easy. Everything comes with its own set of challenges, but you just learn how to overcome those. So yeah, it has its difficulties, you know, especially when you're getting started and trying to gain traction with everything. But again, for me, it's well worth it because again, it's something that I love, and I have flexibility of however my schedule will be.
Okay. But that's all I wanted to ask.
Thank you for your question.
I'm on mute. Okay, guys. Anybody else have a question? James, Devin, any questions? Cortez, any questions? Okay, I see the heads shaking over there. Yes, thank you so much once again, Melinda, for sharing all those tidbits with the kids. Don't go anywhere because they might think of some questions and they might ask you. So,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, everybody. Now I am going to bring in a young man who he calls me his work mom, and this young man is very dear to my heart because he is a very hardworking young man, and he is always looking for ways to really prove himself. You know, sometimes when you are in the corporate world and being young it's not an easy thing. And I asked him to come in because he is young. He is the one that's much closer to their age. Well, technically still super older than them. I don't want him to think he's like really, really young and throw a tantrum tomorrow. But he's the one that is really close to them. And he has met my son Cortez before, and Cortez just adores him. And one other thing that I like about him is that he has played AAU, and he has played AAU right here in Houston. And this young people that are in here today, the AAU basketball players. So they are going to get to speak to somebody who was them before. He was coached by his dad, and he shared a lot of stories with me. And it was almost like I'm listening to my son or some of the kids within the organization that are playing basketball and have exactly the same experience like he does. So without wasting a lot of time, I will go ahead and bring this extraordinary young man on camera and let him introduce himself to you all. Hey, LJ.
Hey, Leonie. How's it going?
It's going good.
I want to thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to be able to speak to, all those part of the GSA community and team. You told me a lot about Gifted Scholars of America, and I'm so happy that you all have this sort of opportunity to be able to kind of fight through the virtual fence that is COVID and not allowing us to be one-on-one with each other. But doing things like this shows why GSA is really such a good organization. So I want to give you thumbs up first of all. But
hold on, let me make sure the other coaches can hear this. Did you all hear this? Did you all hear what's the best organization in Houston? GSA.
You better be proud of that, Leonie, because you put a lot of work in it. You absolutely deserve it. But to give a little bit of background about myself, I'm a detailed-oriented and a passionate technologist. I'm what you call a business analyst. So I'm someone who analyzes business processes, and I kind of translate how we can make our organization's business 10 times better through through not only the Microsoft platform, but through what Lynn was saying earlier, who was my boss, and so is Leonie, wonderful leaders, by the way, ways that we can make their business processes more faster, more lean, and really just a better end to end. So, when I first started out, let me give you guys some background on myself. I grew up here in Houston. I grew up in the Pearland area. And, as a 10-year-old, I want to be so many different things. I think I want to be a fireman at first. I don't know why a fireman, but I wanted to be an architect. And, I think, I'm going to mention it in some of my tips, but I think exposure is everything. I think, what you're exposed to at a young age really helps to kind of shift and drive the way you think about the world. And I want you guys to really remember this. I really want you to remember it all happens at a day-by-day pace. There's nothing that happens, within 1 second, within 1 hour. You're gonna want it fast, and that's the generation we live in. You guys got YouTube right in front of you, and I know you get to see basketball highlights of different players. Back in the day, there was no YouTube, so I had to really search for those highlights. And I want to tell you about exposure. If you want to be a pharmaceutical scientist, like Tezzy was saying, or an NBA player, like so many of you guys have, exposure is important. So, for me, I remember there's a software called CAD, and that was a class that I took after school, and it really made me kind of think like beyond, what was in front of me, and say, oh wow, like this can be created, this can be imagined if you work on some sort of software, and you can play with things, and it got really cool. And I was like, oh wow, I think I want to be an architect. So that was kind of my mindset from like 6th grade to 8th grade. And then as I got older, basketball started getting real serious for me. And, from about, I would say 13, or actually, I think it started at 11. I was playing with the YMCA, and then it got serious around like 13, 14. My dad created a AU program, and, it was called the Houston Playmakers. And that AU program turned into what is now the Houston Elite, a primetime Reebok organization. And, for me, that was some of the best times of my life. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I want y'all to cherish this time. I want you to cherish this time. Embrace your parents, because your parents are making sacrifices for you that you guys don't even really realize sometimes. And those sacrifices. those sacrifices do really tend to blossom, and you begin to understand, okay, wow, like this is so much deeper than myself. And if you're able to have that mindset, it's going to take you a long way. I was talking about exposure. Well, my dad, he knew that, I had different other options to play AU basketball, and, he wanted to start his own team. He wanted to get some of my friends together, and that's what we did. And I'm telling you, when I was talking about exposure, I got a chance to watch players like Derrick Rose, Eric Gordon, OJ Mayo, Kevin Love, Brandon Jennings, Greg Monroe, all NBA players, all the NBA stars, all-stars. I saw these guys at a very young age. I actually saw LeBron James when I was super, super young. And, just that exposure was like, oh, wow, this is really cool. At the same time, I also started to get exposure being a journalist. I interned at KCOH, a radio station. And, that I have a really bad stuttering impediment, and that helped me with speaking and kind of getting over my fear. And, I mentioned finding exposure earlier. But I think another one is, don't be fearful of things that you may feel you're not comfortable with. You have to never, ever, ever, ever be afraid to fail. Failure is the opposite of success. It's not, well, actually, I'm sorry. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success. You have to, when you're climbing a mountaintop, you have to keep climbing, right? And when you're climbing, you're going to slip sometimes. But when you slip, that's when you figure out, okay, I need to grab this part of the mountaintop, or I need to hook here, and it helps you get stronger. So failure is good. Don't ever, 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 ever be afraid to fail. Tell another quick story. When I was in high school and I was playing basketball, I thought I was pretty good. And then I transferred to Pearland High School, a lot tougher team. And, I got cut down from the JV to the sophomore team, and I was on the sophomore team, and I played pretty decent. And then that next year they cut me. So I was cut from the JV team. I mean, you're talking about people that are on my AU team. They're on varsity already. So I felt terrible about that. But when I got cut, it made me really look myself in the mirror and say, okay, I got two options. I can keep going, or I can go in another direction and quit. And, you know, my dad never raised me to be a quitter. And he told me, he said, you go in every day, and you keep pushing. So I started I said, you know what, I'll take tape for you guys. You need somebody to take some videotape, I'll do it. You know, I had a passion for journalism, passion, you know, for kind of filming things anyway. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So I was sitting there, I would go to games and I would be filming stuff. And, you know, that partially, you know, took a hit on my confidence because people would make fun of me. But I was like, I'm not worried about that. I know what I'm doing. I was still practicing. I was still putting in the work. Then after that, you know, I got promoted to team manager. Like, you know what, we need some help. We want you to travel. So I started traveling with the team. And I would, you know, be, you know, getting rebounds for kids that were either a grade underneath me or the same age as me. And then some of my friends are playing on varsity. So super embarrassing. But you know, there's going to be embarrassing moments. I mean, that's a part of growth. Growth is embarrassing sometimes. It's like you have to go through the ugly phases to, you know, to get to the phase where you're, okay, wow, this is where I'm satisfied. And you know what? Satisfaction is a long road. Tezzy, you got blonde hair. I'm sure when you first got the blonde hair and you're first growing your hair out, it wasn't looking right. But then you started, you know, getting your edge up, right? And got your hair. Okay, this is where I want it. And you put some blonde in. Okay, it's starting to look good. But you had to go through that ugly phase, right? Now I was going through the ugly phase of trying to figure out who I was and how much work I really need to put in. So I just want to let you guys know, if everybody says they want to be an NBA player, you got to work like an NBA player right now. All right, it's so serious. I mean, it's if you want to be a pharmacist, if you want to be a technologist, you know, I'm someone who advocates for, you know, working in the STEM field. I believe that you can aspire to be an NBA player, but it's a step-by-step process. I heard a lot of people saying they want to go to University of Houston. University of Houston is a great option, you know, but when you want to go and be an actual NBA player, if you're very serious about that, look at the best options. Right now, people can go to the G League and get paid $1 million if they're good enough. But that's if they're good enough, and they got to put in a lot of work just to be kind of good enough, because that doesn't give you a shot to get to the NBA. So always have that plan B. A plan B is not something to be like looked down upon. It is what it is. And there's other jobs. If you love sports, you don't have to be an NBA player. You can be, like I said, a journalist. You can be an announcer. You can be a coach. You can be a manager. You can be a physical therapist. Like my brother played at basketball at Southern University in New Orleans. I love the Southern HBCU choice. I went to an HBCU called Wiley College. I'll talk about that a little bit more. But, you know, understand that you're going to go through adversity. You're going to get hit hard. And you know, what makes a man is not about, you know, how much adversity he goes through, but how he handles that adversity and keeps pushing forward. So keep pushing forward. And people are talking about find your passion, but also find the fun. I mean, sometimes it's not going to be fun. A lot of times when you're doing something that you're passionate about, you may enjoy it, but it's going to be ugly. It's going to be bad. It's going to be hard. You're going to have days when you're on that basketball court and you're sweating your butt off. And it's 5 o'clock in the morning and it's just you and your dad, or you and your mom, or you and your brothers, just you by yourself. And you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm going to keep pushing. Who's going to push you? No one's going to push you but you. Understand that sometimes you got to find that motivation in you. Understand, what is your why? Why do you want to do this? Really, why do you want to do it? And like, push yourself, because then you'll figure out who you really are. Remember, understand that adversity is needed. You got to go through those hard times to get to the good times. It will always happen. And, you know, for me, I went through high school. I transferred to another school. I got on the varsity team. I averaged 20 points a game. Actually 21 points a game. I set a bunch of records for 3-pointers, 7 threes in a game. I got some little bit of recognition. So, I was, okay, what do I need to do? So I started traveling some, right? I'm looking for other schools to go to. My mom went to an HBCU out in Wiley. I went on a HBCU college tour. Wiley College seemed like a good choice, and they offered me a scholarship. But I had to try out. And then after I tried out, because there's different tiers, all right? You can go to University of Houston, but you can also go to another tier called NAIA, or you can go to a Division II. And you still get a really good education. So I went to an NAIA school, a lower tier school. I was able to thrive there, but then I got hurt. What's that plan B, right? I mean, what is your plan B? I actually got hurt. I didn't think it was going to happen to me. Then the speech and debate team came about. Wiley College produced a movie called the Real Great Debaters. I had the opportunity to be a part of the speech and debate team. And when I was a part of that debate team, it allowed me to face my fears. I could not speak clearly like I can now. I had a really bad stuttering impediment. I was really scared about that. And also, I'd never been in this space before, but they offered me a full scholarship. So I said, I'm going to take it. And I took that opportunity. I majored in technology and MIS, started to understand kind of, okay, my dad wants me to be in technology, but why? And why is he in technology? Because there's a real impact. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, that's STEM. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. STEM is cool. It is cool to be in technology because that is the future. I cannot stress it enough. The future is technology. So if you want to be a part of the future, if you want to understand that the world is going to be like Star Wars and the Jetsons one day, who is going to envision this world? And that's the people like us. And there's nothing wrong with being an NBA player, because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, follow your heart, but understand you got to work hard. And my last thing is remember your impact. If you want to be an NBA player, work hard, make a lot of money, and then give back to the community. If you want to, be a technologist like myself, a pharmaceutical therapist, a pharmacist like Tezzy wants to be, understand the amount of work that you have to put into this.
He will correct you very fast. LJ, he will let you know that he wants to be a pharmaceutical scientist, not a pharmacist. He has corrected me many times.
I'm sorry, a pharmaceutical scientist. Well, regardless of the path you want to take, there's tons of hard work. You're gonna hit those roadblocks. You're gonna hit things that's gonna confuse you sometimes and irritate you, but keep pushing forward, because in those hard times, right when you feel like you're gonna quit, if you give it a little bit more, you might just get there. And you're probably gonna get there. And it happened to me. I ended up making the basketball team. I ended up going to play college basketball. I ended up being a part of a national championship speech and debate team. And after that, I graduated. And the next year I graduated, I joined Avanade, and I've been with an amazing company for the past 5+ years. And it's done so much for my confidence. And it's really helped to propel my trajectory into what God knows what my career will be going forward. But I can't say enough about failure. Failure is so important. So never be afraid to fail and keep pressing forward with your head up. I believe you guys are going to achieve everything.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, LJ, thank you so much. It's like, I know I'm supposed to be your work mom, but you just schooled me so much right now. I was taking notes. You see this is my scramble, trying to pick up all the things that you were saying that I loved. And I love the fact that you talk to them about exposure, because one of the big reasons why their parents are actually having them in this training is because they want to give them exposure to more than just basketball. So that's a very important thing, and I love that you touched on it. And I also loved when you talked about you have to go through hard times to get to the good times. So James, Devin, Bromfield Triplets, Cortez, I hope you guys were listening to the three speakers, because there is one common theme that I heard from them. So Lynn is an immigrant from Vietnam, and he came here during the war. And you can just imagine the kind of adversity that his family had to overcome for them to come down here. And actually, he didn't tell you one very interesting story, and that the first time I heard about it, I cried. The second time I heard about it, I just looked at him and I was like, oh wow, what an experience for a 9-year-old to go through, when he had to help his father, who was the captain of the ship that was actually bringing them here to the US. And then when you listen to Marinda is first generation in college. She came to Houston with only $200. And then you listen to LJ. His adversity is totally different from Marinda and Lynn. I know LJ's dad. Like, LJ's dad is in technology. I worked with him, and now he's working for another mother company of ours. So that was not LJ's issue. But one thing that I want you guys to realize that is similar and that you have to pay attention to. LJ played basketball and he thought he was going to make it, but he didn't make it. But what he didn't do is he didn't quit, not on his teammates, not on himself. He allowed himself. Says, you remember when you told me one of your schoolmates said you're going to be the water boy, and I told you it's okay to be the water boy? LJ was taking pictures and getting rebounds for other kids. Did you bring the water also, LJ?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I helped bring a water bottle or two every now and then, but it wasn't that long. But
so guys, you have to allow yourself to be servants, to be a leader. You get it?
Amen.
So
Amen.
it builds your humility and it builds your ability to function. So guys, any questions for LJ? Raise your hands and I will bring you. Okay, there's a question. All right, that was a very quick question. I think that.
Does your dad still do AAU?
He doesn't anymore. But what we started was a Houston Elite program, and the people that run the Houston Elite are still active. The Houston Elite is a Reebok team, and so proud of where it built up. But it doesn't matter, if you're on a sneaker sponsored team or if you're not. To be honest, some of the best players in the NBA right now were unranked. Russell Westbrook wasn't ranked in high school. Damian, what's his last name? Damn, he just Damian Lillard wasn't ranked in high school. I mean, it's some of our best, Kawhi Leonard, some of our Paul George, some of our best players weren't high ranked. So don't worry about the rankings. Don't get all wrapped up in what team you play for. But at the end of the day, if you're good, they're gonna find you. So put the work. Seriously, every single day, put that work in, and they're gonna find you. But like I said, it's an everyday process. Every day, you take a day off. Somebody's working hard on you. So you got to remember that.
Hey, LJ, maybe we can get your daddy to come and guest play with the kids one day.
I don't want to embarrass him.
Any more questions for LJ, guys? Okay, there is another question. Hold on, let me bring Devin in. Devin has a question for you, LJ. Okay, Devin, you can take yourself off mute and ask your question.
Hey, Devin.
How did your dad start the AAU team?
Well, similar to what Miss Taylor is doing. What Leonie has done is made sure to get a group of parents that believe in a vision, and they go forward every single day trying to achieve that vision day by day. It's not an overnight process. Kind of started with all the players that we had on my middle school team, and we were. And this is when I was living in Pasadena, and I was going to Beverly Hills Intermediate, and we didn't have some of the best talent, but we just kind of trusted each other, and it kind of built out from there. Started building his connections with other coaches and stuff like that. But again, AAU was some of the best times of my life. We played for a very small organization. The Houston Playmakers, most of the time I played, we were similar to GSA. I was always envious of those shoe companies, but I promise you, everybody on my AU team got a scholarship. And that's the fact. So, you don't have to be on one of those shoe teams. It helps, as you get older, but especially at this age right now, worry about the fundamentals. Worry about putting the work in. How many shots did you put up today? How many makes did you make? All right, think about the makes, not just about the shots. Think about the makes, right? You put up 200 shots a day. Okay, how many are makes? Actually, put up 200 makes a day and then put up 500 shots. And you might make 500 makes because you're aiming higher than what you think your ceiling is. But look, it's all coming down to hard work. That's what I'm going to keep bringing y'all back to, hard work. All right, put in the makes, get those makes going, and then it'll translate to other things in life where you still have to put work in. Like every single day, technology changes for me, and I have to learn more and more and more. But that's just the hard work. Life is about hard work. It's never, ever, ever going to get easier. It's just going to get harder. So just embrace the struggle, embrace the grind. You'll be better.
All right, there's another question. You can take yourself off mute, Jordan. Man,
it was hard. It was hard. The the pace is faster. You feel like, okay, wow, I'm like living in like a different world now. Like they're really playing faster and they're like a lot more talented and more physical. And it's really you think it's a difference, but it's a total difference. But look, you're gonna experience that when you get to middle school. You're gonna experience that when you get to high school, and you're gonna experience that when you get to college. Every single phase of life requires a better you. That's something you take wherever you're gonna go. And in whatever phase of life you go into, every single level of life that you ascend to requires a better you. All right. So how much better are you going to give yourself so that you can make sure that you hit those standards and that passion that you think that you have? All right. Like I say, put the work in and we'll see how far and how much you really love this stuff.
All right. One last question. James, is your hand up? Okay. Go ahead, James.
What is your best moment what is your best play that you made in AAU?
It's a good question. It's a good question, man. I got so many. I hit a game tying deep 3-pointer to put us in overtime against who was it? It was I don't know if y'all know who Greg Monroe is, but Greg Monroe was like the #1 player in class 2008. So it was a big game. We're playing against him and some really top players, and on a huge stage. A lot of college coaches were there, and they came down. And we got a steal, and I just ran down, and they threw it ahead of me, and I caught it and threw it up, and I didn't think it was gonna go in, but I just always add a little extra touch there at the end, and I didn't fall through, but I was like, oh man, I ain't fall through, and it was just enough to boom hit the back of the net, and everybody went crazy, and we went in overtime. So that was a big game. And also another one was I was like in 8th grade. We had like this super freak athlete. Another thing I'm gonna tell y'all, a lot of kids are gonna be really more talented and athletic than you are right now. But if you keep putting the work in, some people fall off because they get lazy. Never get lazy. Because this kid, Dominique, has super talent. I threw up the alley-oop to him. He went and caught it and windmilled it in the 8th grade. Windmilled it like this and dunked it. It was crazy. So, I mean, that's two of my craziest plays. But again, everything goes back to the hard work. I want to keep telling y'all hard work. Nothing outbeats the work. Dominique didn't end up playing in college, right? He got lazy. He thought he had it all because he was super talented and was getting scouted by all the teams, and it didn't work well. And look, that's when you win, working harder than those who don't work harder than you.
Yeah, and that also reminds me, LJ, because we were talking about a similar situation of one kid that played for us and would not focus on his grades, got scouted by a bigger AAU organization, and we tried to talk to him like, wherever you go, this is a now situation, you cannot let your grades slip. And he ended up with basketball offers for college, but they all dropped him because of his grades. So hard work all around. Anyway, thank you so much, LJ. Cortez has his hand up. I guess one last question then, because I want to get back to Lynn. There's something that I want to bring Lynn on for. Okay, Cortez.
I have a question. Did you always have all A's when you were in school?
No, I didn't, man. Look, that's a good question. I wasn't the best student. Sometimes I was. Sometimes I wasn't. It's funny because some of those times in high school, I know I could have worked harder, but at the end of the day, I didn't go below a B. I wasn't a fail. I wasn't a C student. I was what you call kind of honor roll. But but my senior year and my freshman year of college were probably my 2 best years. I was so focused. I got to college like really ready to make an impact, and I knew my grades were going to be something that I couldn't let slack. So I'm telling you guys, regardless, aim for an A. You might get to a B, you might get to A+, but when it's all said and done, it's about putting the hard work in. I cannot stress it enough. You have to put the work in. So if you haven't put up those 200 shots or those 200 makes today, put them up and then do it tomorrow and then do it the next day, because it's an everyday process. So again, thank you, Leonie, and thanks, Tezzy, and thanks all. Appreciate the twins, and thanks, Jordan. Thanks, Devin.
It's 3 of them. Triplets.
James. Triplets. I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay. So thank you so much, LJ. Hang on, because I will let you guys to say bye bye. I just want to bring Lynn in for something that I want to talk to him about. Hey, Lynn, I'm sure you're wondering why I'm bringing you back in. I have two questions for you. I want you to talk to them about the scholarship that Avanade offers for college. And also, I want you to talk to them about the internship program that Avanade offers.
Okay. I mean, so for scholarship for college, right? Obviously, we and then on top of that, I'm trying to do something with Genesis Works as well too, as part of our effort in giving back to the community and also promoting youth activities, right? From that scholarship, essentially you have to apply, from your high school. You guys are 10, which is probably fifth and sixth grade right now, right? So you have quite a bit of ways to go, but obviously you want to focus on getting good grades and do all the things that you can do to control. And no doubt about it, I totally agree with RJ. Hard work is very important. And then internship program. While you're a junior year in college, we actually just finished our internship program right now for a number of colleges. And actually, out of the seven, six were University of Houston students. And essentially, you go in, you do an 8-week program with us. And we not only use it just to give you experiences and network, but also it's a way for us to evaluate and give you an opportunity to demonstrate yourself. Then that way we can hire you in as full-time employees. We use that as a way to allow us to evaluate you and you to evaluate us as well. And I know we're running out of time, but the one thing I forgot to mention is that I'm very fortunate in my life to meet people like Leone, RJ. RJ actually worked on one of the first projects that I had when he first joined the company. So it's been great to see him continue to grow. But I always tell people I'm the luckiest person that I know. And I define lucky is when opportunities kind of intersect or meets preparation. And you have to work hard, you have to prepare. But then when you give an opportunity, you have to seize that opportunity. So that's why I always said, prepare yourself and give yourself options. And when the opportunity presents itself, seize it and take it. So thank you for allowing me to talk today.
Thank you so much, Lynn. I was just taking another note about what lucky means is when opportunity meets preparation. That's a good one. Yeah, today I've gotten so many nuggets. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Lynn. I mean, I know you are a very, very busy person, and for you to take time out of your busy schedule and spare it to come and talk to our youth is really something that I truly appreciate. And thank you once again. We hope to have you back to talk to them again in the future.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let me bring Melinda back. Melinda, are you still there with us? Okay, do you have any last words for the boys?
I think everybody has summed it up. Always, like we've talked about, is just being able to find a thing that you love, find a gift that's been given to you. And sometimes you have multiple gifts. You may think it's just basketball, but you may have other talents as well that's supposed to be utilized in this world. So explore them all, and as I've said, utilize it across multiple platforms because you never
All
know.
right.
When you look at basketball, look at Michael Jordan. He got multiple streams of income. That's why he's able to be how he is right now.
Yes. Hold on. There's a hand. I think
How did you love University?
I loved University of Houston. That was like some of my most favorite times. I would definitely say that. I love the diversity of the school. You just meet any and every have several
Okay, I think my screen blanked out a little bit. Okay, thank you so much, Melinda. LJ, are you there? I'll let you say bye to the boys.
Hey,
All
I'm
right.
here. Yeah, hey guys, I just want to say one more word. I keep saying hard work, but I just want you to also trust your heart. Always believe in yourself. Don't let others, put any sort of pressure on you to do anything else. And
Not
always,
again.
always, always listen to your parents because you think you know what you're talking about. You think you know, but there's a reason why they're their parents and they've been here before. It took me 30 years to really figure this out, but as you get older, I want to give it to you because y'all think y'all know what y'all talking about, but you don't. All right, you don't. So listen more that you talk. Okay, the more you listen, the better you get a chance to learn from those who've already been in front of you. I appreciate y'all for listening to me. I appreciate the time. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Leonie. Excellent, excellent panel. And thank you all that's been listening. This has been really great. So thank you, GSA.
Thank you so much, LJ. Boys, do you guys want to say anything?
Bye. Thank you for your time.
Teach
Thank
everyone
you.
and
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it all.
Thank you for everybody's time.
Thank you for coming here and talking to us and teaching us some of the old
Give it
folks
the
stuff.
best speech ever.
All right. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. And thank you, everybody that joined. Let me thank you, everybody that joined. I really appreciate our guests for coming in and spending an hour with us. And I appreciate everybody for spending an hour with us as well. I hope the boys took this and it will shape their future. They might be 10 years old, but being able to get to listen to this kind of talks will be a foundation that they really need and they can build on. So once again, thank you to our guests and thank you to the boys. And today was the last day of the financial class and they did so well. They were today working on identifying the stocks that they would like to invest in. And it was amazing just seeing them going to the New York stock market exchange website and researching the companies and everything. So these young guys they are really amazing. And they will be graduating August 15th from the course. We will broadcast it live. You'll get to see them as they receive their certificates. Once again, thank you, everybody, and we will talk again soon. Bye-bye.